in 520 to BCE, in the Achaemenid Persian Empire. And this wasn't just any empire. It was the largest the world had ever seen, a massive territory stretching from modern-day Pakistan to the shores of Greece. It was a masterpiece of administration and military power, but it was about to be rocked to its core. The king, Cambyses II, son of the legendary Cyrus the Great, was on his way back from a successful campaign in Egypt. He never made it home. He died under mysterious circumstances, leaving a massive power vacuum. In an empire this huge, that kind of vacuum is dangerous. Word spread like wildfire. A man named Gaumata, a Magian priest, had seized the throne. He claimed he was Bardiya, Cambyses' younger brother, who many believed had been secretly murdered years before. For most people, and even many nobles, this seemed like an unexpected, but legitimate change of power. But one man saw it differently. To him, this wasn't just a political coup. It was a spiritual catastrophe. He would later carve into a cliff face for all time that in the king's absence, the lie abounded in the land. The empire wasn't just in chaos. It was falling into cosmic disorder. The man who wrote those words was Darius, and he was about to make his move. Darius was a nobleman, but not from the main royal line. He was King Cambyses' personal lance-bearer, well-placed, but not next in line for the throne. But he saw Gaumata's rule as an existential threat. He gathered a small group of 6 other powerful Persian nobles and launched a daring plot. They stormed the fortress where the usurper was, and in a swift, brutal attack, they killed him. Now, in any other context, this would just be a classic coup. But Darius was smart. He framed his actions in a revolutionary new light. He didn't just claim the throne by conquest, he claimed it by divine mandate. To get how he pulled this off, you have to understand the powerful religious ideas sweeping through Persia at the time. Zoroastrianism. At the heart of this ancient faith is a cosmic struggle between 2 opposing forces. On one side is Ahura Mazda, the supreme creator, the source of all that is good. His essence is a principle known as Asha. Think of Asha not just as truth, but as order, justice, and the fundamental harmony of the universe. Its dark reflection is Druj. Druj is the lie. Its falsehood, chaos, and disorder. Zoroastrianism teaches that these 2 forces are at war, and every human being has the free will to choose a side. Through your thoughts, words, and actions, you either support the divine order of Asha or fuel the chaos of the lie. Darius didn't just see Gaumata as a political rival. He saw him as a victory for Druj. He wasn't just a false king. He was the embodiment of the lie itself, sent to plunge the world into darkness. And Darius, he cast himself as the champion of Asha, the man chosen by Ahura Mazda to restore truth and order to the world. With the usurper dead, Darius faced an even bigger problem, holding a fracturing empire together. Rebellions were flaring up everywhere. He needed to sell his story and prove his legitimacy to millions. His solution was one of the most brilliant pieces of propaganda in history. The Behistun Inscription, high on a limestone cliff, along the major trade routes in modern Iran. Darius had a massive relief and text carved directly into the rock. It's hundreds of feet off the ground, where everyone could see it, but no one could tamper with it. And he had it written in 3 languages: Old Persian, Elamite, and Babylonian, so his message would reach every corner of his empire. That message was unmistakable. It starts with a bold declaration: I am Darius the Great King, the King of Kings. By the grace of Ahura Mazda, I am king. Ahura Mazda has granted me the empire. He immediately grounds his authority not in his own power, but in God's. He then tells the story of Gaumata, saying the usurper caused the lie to spread across the land. He details how he, with divine aid, struck down this agent of Druj. I restored that which had been taken away. The inscription declares, this did I by the grace of Ahura Mazda. His coup was recast as an act of cosmic restoration. Then comes the chilling new doctrine: you are either with the truth or with the lie. There is no middle ground. Darius's takeover wasn't the end of the war. It was just the beginning. Rebellions erupted across the empire, from Babylonia to Armenia. In his inscription, Darius claims to have defeated 9 rebel leaders in a single year. One of the most serious revolts was in the land of Elam, led by a man named Ezina. And it's here we see Darius's new ideology put into brutal practice. For Darius, this wasn't just about crushing a rebellion. It was a sacred duty. The Elamite rebels weren't just political opponents. They were followers of the lie, actively trying to destroy the divine order he was chosen to protect. This thinking gave his war several powerful components. First, divine sanction. The war was framed as being commanded by God. In the Behistun Inscription, Darius repeats a powerful phrase over and over for each victory. Ahura Mazda bore me aid. By the favor of Ahura Mazda my army smote that rebellious army. His soldiers weren't just fighting for him. They were on a divine mission. Second, absolute moral justification. Darius wasn't fighting for land, but for truth against falsehood. This transformed the conflict from a political squabble into a moral imperative. Third, the enemies were branded as agents of evil. They were followers of Druj, the lie. The Behistun relief shows the defeated rebel leaders tied up with a rope around their necks, paraded before Darius like heretics. The inscription over the Elamite rebel is blunt. This is Ezina. He lied, saying I am king of Elam. His crime wasn't just rebellion. It was blasphemy. He was an enemy of truth. Finally, the promise of cosmic reward. While the inscription doesn't promise paradise, like some later religions would, Zoroastrian belief held that life's purpose was to uphold Asha, or truth, by fighting for Darius, the king chosen by Ahura Mazda. His soldiers were helping restore the divine order of the universe. Their reward was divine favor and a place on the right side of cosmic history. This reframing of conflict was a stroke of political genius. It gave Darius's soldiers a powerful motivation and a terrifying justification for destroying his enemies. This model of divinely sanctioned violence would prove so effective that it became a landmark of the history of warfare. We'll explore that lasting impact in a moment, but if you're finding this look into the ancient world fascinating, please take a second to support the channel. Liking the video and subscribing helps us create more deep histories like this one. So what made this so different? After all, ancient kings had always claimed their gods were on their side. The difference is in the ideology. Darius didn't just claim his god was stronger than his enemies' gods. He claimed his god was truth itself, and his enemies were agents of a universal, cosmic falsehood. This wasn't a contest between a Persian god and an Elamite god. It was a battle between divine order and demonic chaos. This conceptual leap was an incredibly powerful tool. Suddenly, rebellion wasn't just treason against the king. It was heresy against God's order. Dissent wasn't just a political disagreement. It was a sin against the fabric of reality itself. To oppose Darius was to oppose truth. This ideology helped him crush around 9 major revolts and forge a stable Persian empire from the ashes of civil war. The model he perfected would echo through the ages. While there may not be a direct line from Darius's rock carving to later concepts of holy war, the themes are undeniable. The idea of a bellum sacrum, or holy war, became a cornerstone of Western history, most famously during the Crusades. The Islamic concept of jihad articulated a divinely mandated struggle in the path of God. In many cases, the core elements Darius pioneered were present. A war sanctioned by a divine authority, fought for a righteous cause against a morally irredeemable enemy, with spiritual rewards for the faithful. In the chaos of 520 BCE, Darius I needed more than just a strong army to secure his throne. He needed an idea story powerful enough to unite dozens of cultures into a single, loyal empire. He found it in the Zoroastrian struggle between Asha and Druj, truth and the lie. By brilliantly fusing his political goals with this cosmic battle, he transformed his civil wars into a holy cause. He turned rebels into heretics and warfare into a sacred duty. This innovation in political and religious propaganda gave him the justification he needed to build an empire, and it created a powerful, dangerous idea that has never truly faded from the world: that war can be a holy endeavor, that God can be on one side, and that your enemies can be branded as evil itself.